y'all. Welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back.
Yes, so this is Too Much with
Shey
and Becca. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. Y'all, we have a lot to get into, okay? And so obviously, as we always do, we do our weekly rundown. So let's get into that. What's happening? I made you go first last week, so I'll go. My week honestly has been very it's been boring in terms of work life kind of thing. But personally, it's Shayla and I are in the process of getting ready for this trip. So it's I feel like everything is coming at full force. And it's especially when it comes to your hair, your nails, you don't want to get it done too close, but you don't want to get it done too far.
Right.
I'm over here booking appointment after appointment. I have a nail appointment. No, I have a hair appointment Thursday, nail appointment Friday. I'm getting a wax for the first time ever. I'm going to make sure I take a video of me reacting when they pull the first strip because I can just imagine what I'm about to be like.
What made you want to get a wax for the first time?
It's something I've been wanting to do. You know how I told you, I want to start doing a lot of the first time things that I say I've never done. I've never been on a cruise before, about to do that. I've never traveled out of I've gone to New York and Pennsylvania with friends, but
girl, that does not count as travel.
But out of state, I've never traveled with friends like that. So it's I'm just trying to continue the checking things off. So I don't know, getting my first time experiences. So getting a wax is something I've always said I wanted to do and I've never done. And I'm once I book this appointment and pay, I got no other choice. So one day I was I'm gonna do it. And I went and I booked it, and my waxing appointment is literally on Monday. So I don't even have time to prep emotionally. Exactly. So I'm a little nervous for that. I also just wanted to talk about something real quick because, a lot of times we I feel like sometimes it's important to talk about the mindset and certain things that are going on through your head because, you never know who's trying to figure it out for themselves too. So something Shayla and I were talking about yesterday, I was telling her, I was I literally feel I pour into so much into people. And I feel sometimes reciprocation, I'm not saying if I buy you a $50 gift, you got to get me a $50 gift. But it's if I'm consistently giving, where in your mind do you think, let me give back? Type of thing. So it's it's one of those things that I'm currently struggling with because I'm real quick to cut people off. But once I feel I'm invested in you in terms of friendship and the love that I have for you, I think that's where it gets more difficult to be oh my, all right, I need to nip it in the butt. But it's I'm going through my cleansing process and I'm about to start cleansing. So I'm starting to really look at most friendships and see which ones are actually feeding into me as well. Yeah. And that's all from me.
So my week has been one of the toughest weeks of the year. And I know the year just started, but once you're living through a hard time, you really can't talk about it until you're on the other side. And so that's kind of how I feel right now. Not only was I sick, if you guys watched the last episode, that was just the beginning of my sickness. I thought at that time I wasn't feeling good, but it went from worse to worser. Okay. I had no voice. I still had to work because, I had to work. And then I got some very bad news. Nothing related to my health. I'm good, all of that. But just life has been lifing. And if I have the type of personality where I like to control everything. And I know you cannot control everything, right? That's just the way life works. And I'm just again, I know some people don't believe in God or whatever, but I honestly feel thank God I do believe in God and I believe things happen for a reason, because if not, child, I might have to been checked into a sane asylum. Okay. Because it has been tough and I'm trying to be positive about things, especially because my birthday is tomorrow and I'm not the biggest birthday person ever, but I feel when it is your birthday, you do want to feel happy, it is kind of a refresher of life, a new year, new beginning. And girl, it really is about to be a new beginning, whether I wanted it to be or not, because of the changes and news that I learned over the weekend. But other than that, I am feeling better. And so I guess it could only go up from here.
Yes, yes. And before we get into our topics, like Shayla mentioned, her birthday is March 1st. We have our Pisces baby. And, you
Shout
know,
out to any of the Pisces if you're watching this. It's our month.
shout out to the Geminis who are friends with Pisces because, baby, we be going through it.
Do we? I feel like it's
I have too many Pisces in my life. And it's just
so
like,
clearly it means that we make a good mix if you have a lot of us.
oh, yes, we do. And with that, I just wanted to play a quick video for Shayla.
My Shayla, my Shayla. Congratulations!
LOL. Thank you so much. That was so cute. I really appreciate you using the My Shayla meme because I'm like, that's the perfect meme to use for me, and no one has used it for me. So thank you. Thank you so much for, celebrating me early. She did take me to like a candlelight, it's like a concert. And it was really cute. Rebecca knows that I love music and instruments and very like sentimental, vibey things. And so I appreciate you. Like Rebecca started off the thing. I know she said that she appreciates, like friendships where it is reciprocal. And so it does mean a lot to me that, she took time out of her off day to go to her non-favorite city to spend time with me.
Of course, my love. Anything for you, Shayla. Honestly, like I said, happy birthday, early birthday,
Thank
obviously.
you.
Obviously, you'll get your birthday paragraph from me as you do every year.
Yeah.
And, as much as your foundation has been shaken, I just want you to know, like, everything happens for a reason. And
Yeah.
I see such great things happening for you, even though you may not see it right now or it may not feel like that. I just know the world is going to bless you in the ways that you deserve. So,
Thank you.
happy early birthday.
Amen.
And make sure y'all say happy birthday to her in the comments too. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, let's get into our topic. Shayla, let's get
Mm. So, like we've mentioned in part, I feel like the news stories, a lot of the stuff be the same, but we've been talking about DEI. DEI, and if you don't know what DEI means, is like diversity, equity, and inclusion. And several big corporations have expressed how, they're rolling back DEI initiatives because of, Donald Trump's executive orders. Ever since Trump got into office, he feels like, honestly, DEI is becoming a slur word now. He feels like people that are, might have disabilities or are non-white, God forbid they get opportunities, it's not because they deserve it, it's just because of DEI, right? And so because of that, a lot of people that are a part of the not a part of DEI, I hate even saying that, but people of color, the community that is impacted or is helped by DEI initiatives, is like, you know what? We are going to stop supporting those that don't support us, because it's been major corporations who we literally carry on our backs because we put our hard-earned money into them. Walmart, Target, like the list goes on and on and on. Most likely a company that you shop at is the company that is rolling back DEI initiatives. And so we discussed in prior episodes how, people were like, you know what, we're going to ban using these corporations. And so today, Friday, the February 28th, they started this initiative called like, it was like Blackout. Let me see. Let me come here. They started this initiative called Economic Blackout, right? So it all was started by this organization by the name of the People's Union USA, right? It's a grassroots group, and they're spearheading the movement, calling for a national boycott in the form of, quote, economic blackout today, Friday, urging Americans not to shop for 24 hours. Its actual impact on retail sales or company profits is most likely gonna, these corporations are not gonna feel it if you only do it a day, right? And this is the person that's doing this. They're saying like the organization is not connected to like any political affiliation. They're just doing this specifically to target these companies. And they said, quote, "For generations, our families worked, sacrificed, and fought to build a better future. Yet here we stand still waiting." And so my question to you is, we've discussed this already. Like, is it possible to boycott in 2025? And we said, like, it is possible, but we're very selfish people, and in 2025 most people are not going to want to do it. Here's my thing with all of that, right? I think the bigger issue here is, I feel like also in 2025 social media, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Like, what do you call people that fight for rights?
Activist.
Okay, yeah. I think in 2025, social media activism is the problem. It is very easy to share all those beautiful graphics that Rebecca had up. You know what I'm saying? And be like, "Oh yeah, we're not gonna shop at XY places," and you post that on social media. But I will most likely see you on the way to the Targets, to the Walmarts, to all these stores as you share it in your Insta stories. So I'm like, miss me with all of that. And the opposite side of that is a lot of people that feel like, well, if you're not posting it, you're not taking part in the activism. And I wholeheartedly believe, as someone that doesn't really post that often on social media, like I just post what I want people to see. I prefer you not post on social media or your feed and actually do the things that will help your community. Because I know a lot of people that are reposting these little social media activism squares and are continuing to shop at these places. And I understand, yes, Target is something that it's easy to access, it's easy to go to, but at the end of the day, I strongly believe that I will not support people that don't support me. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not hard to stop shopping there, right? Because that's the whole point. That's how the system was set up. They want us to only support these people, right? They want us to support the Jeff Bezos and the Amazons. Like, of course, that's what they want. That's why they get away with doing what they want to do, because they understand, oh yeah, y'all could talk all of this ish on social media, but I know I'm still getting your check at the end of the week. They know this. And it makes me mad, because I know it is a privilege for me to sit here and be like, well, I just go to the bodega and do this. I just want you guys to understand that it is important. Whether, like, doing this economic blackout for a day is not going to hurt these companies. It's going to take several months, and it's also going to take a lot of people to actually participate, not just post on social media.
So I don't know if you noticed at one point, like I had to put my head down and laugh, because I won't lie to y'all. I've been to Target twice in the last, I want to say, when did this whole DEI thing? January. And we're only at the end of February. I've been to Target twice, and both times it's because I actively really needed something. And also I was not going to CVS, because CVS was charging an arm and a leg for the one product that I could get for half the price of that. So yes, I think when it comes to the idea of activism and posting on social media, it's one thing to post on social media, but it's like, if you're going to do it, then actually do it. Did I participate in this blackout
economic blackout?
Yes. So today I haven't bought anything. I refuse to go buy anything, especially because, one, budgeting trip's coming, and two, it's just like, I get the point. I get the idea. And I know you're saying like, oh, they're not going to feel it. But it's like, if you see that your sales for that specific day dropped, because they get the list. They're gonna see, if you see the drop, you're gonna be like, hold up. And
one day is a penny to these corporations.
Okay, I'm just saying, it's not even, I get what you're saying for long term. But what I'm saying is, for the short term, because all companies have short-term goals and long-term goals. If you see for the short term that like this day, the sales drop, you see who makes up for your the most of the people that buy from you. Like, if you see that, you're like, hold up. Now, in terms of long-lasting change, unless people actively feed into this idea of let us boycott completely, then of course they're not going to change nothing. But it's like, if you see at the short term, they're like, hold up, our sales dropped by like 60% this day, and you see that it was economic blackout, you're like, hold up. Now, what if people actually say, let's try increasing it to 2 days, and see if we can increase it to 3 days, and like, let's go to a month. Then I feel like you're going to actively see the change. But also, like you mentioned, these, like the corporations where we buy all this stuff from, it's set up that way. We have to go to Target, we have to go to Walmart, we have to go to these other places, because that's where everything is. If you live in like Texas, they don't have corner stores. You gotta drive like 30 minutes to your nearest Walmart. Like, there's like, we mentioned like it's a luxury for us, but some people don't have that. It's like, that is how it's built. You go to the places of convenience.
We understand each other, but I still think that if you can get that milk somewhere else, please do. And I also understand, like, some people, they go wherever they take their, their food stamps, or the stamps of when you have kids and they give you like little checks. You know what I'm saying? The people that know, when you get social services, you can only get certain amount of things and whatever. I just feel like, I just hope people actually do it. I haven't been to Target, but again, I understand that it's a luxury. I have a car where I could just drive somewhere else. But I really hope these corporations feel it. I don't know if a day will be enough, but again, comment down below your thoughts on the situation. Is this the right way to go? People are saying, instead of going to these places, let's go support Costco. Maybe there's not a Costco where you live. Costco does require a membership. You know what I'm saying? So that also puts a barrier into that. And also, there's just certain items that people are obsessed with Amazon. So you could just simply start by not shopping on Amazon every single day, and instead put yourself into like a limit. I'm only going to shop from Amazon once a month. So like that, at least that's a way of like a healthy medium. Because I know a lot of people, honey, they keeping Amazon's lights on every day, a new purchase, a new package. So maybe let's not say ban, but let us minimize the usage, because I've said this in every episode, money talks. So they will continue to disrespect you if they're saying their profits are up. We don't care about chat. My money's still up.
I agree with what you're saying, but also, like we talked about in past episodes, it's a level of comfortability. How willing are you to make yourself uncomfortable and find these alternatives? Like, ever since I've seen these companies pulling back at DEI and stuff like that, the way ShopRite has seen me is like, it's to the point where the cashier like, Rebecca, you back this week? I'm like, yeah, Susan, how you doing? And also, shout out to my girl Mariella. She works in the flower department. Me and her be chatting up a storm at the ShopRite, okay? But like I said, like, if you have to be willing to make yourself uncomfortable if you want to see those type of changes, or for these people to feel the impact of their disrespect affecting you as well. If you can't respect me, then I can't respect you. But like I said, I will call a spade a spade. I've been to Target. I did shop on Amazon in preparation for this trip. And it's like, yes, do I believe that these companies are disrespecting me? Yes. But for the act of convenience, I did do it. I won't lie to you.
We'll end that on that. What's next for today?
So we're going to talk next. Oh, did you want to bring up Zelenskyy and stuff?
We'll do that after this, because that's real juicy. Stay tuned for that.
Oh, but this is just as juicy. But let's get into it. So let me set the scene for y'all. So I've been seeing a lot on my TikTok. I don't know about yours, Shayla, but a lot of people have been mentioning the name Telvin Osborne, right? And I like, it was for me, when I kept seeing it on social media, I just kept scrolling past it on TikTok. I was like, all right, like, I don't know. It was just something that I just didn't really want to hear about. Like, I was just like, it was like in my head, and it's sad to think, but I was like, another Black man killed. Like, and I didn't know the reasoning or how he was killed or what happened, nothing like that. But for my peace of mind, I was like, literally come from work, looking at news all day. I don't want to see this, right? So after, like, I want to say my 20th scroll past the video, I was like, okay, what is going on? Like, why is everybody talking about this? So let me give y'all some background details. So a domestic dispute in Georgia led to a fatal shooting of a 30-year-old named Telvin Osborne. And so there, a 25-year-old named Hannah Grace Cobb was arrested and charged with a felony involuntary manslaughter. Now you're like, okay, what about it? So Telvin was found unresponsive with a gunshot wound in the chest, later pronounced dead at the hospital. Hannah, who was his partner and the baby mama to his 2 children, was arrested on Tuesday, February 25th. So she claims the shooting was accidental while she was checking the firearm. She said that she was cleaning the firearm, and that's something that she does nightly, right? So the investigation found that there was no evidence of her actually cleaning the weapon, and that the sheriff in that county basically stated that alcohol, arguing, and physical altercations were involved before the shooting. So Hannah remains in custody without bond as the investigation continues. So let me show y'all what he looks like really quickly. So this is Telvin. Telvin and Hannah, right? Cool. This is her mugshot, right? Cool, right? So now you're like, okay, I hear it. Like, his baby mother shot him. She's saying that she was cleaning her weapon. Apparently they had went out, they were drinking and stuff like that, and then she came home. The family's like, why would you go out after a whole night of partying and everything, come home while you're drunk and decide to clean your gun? That doesn't make any sense, right? So right now she's being held in jail. So now this is where the situation is. Like, this situation is definitely a situation. And let's talk about why it's being talked about so so widely on social media. So after I see all this, I see people in the comments, and I see a lot of Black women making videos like talk about I'm not supporting that man. Like, I'm not speaking out for him. Like, I'm not saying justice for him. I'm like, what is going on? Girl. So you remember those same photos that I showed you? These are just some of the posts that have been dug up from Telvin's Facebook, and I'll show you a little later on his Twitter post as well, of him basically bashing Black women and talking about how much he loves his white baby mama. So let's talk about the first one, up all the way in the corner. He said, I'll fuck a dog before I fuck a Black bitch, and it gotta be a white dog though. Next post, thankful for this little blonde blessing of mine. Another post, somebody had basically commented on this photo that he posted with a Black goat and said, so you do date Black girls? And he said, you gonna get me in trouble. Another post, I'll kill for her. I'll kill about her. I ain't scared to say it. I'll die about her. Baby, yes, you did. You died by her. Yup. And so then we also go to his Twitter really quickly. So in his Twitter, if you can see in his bio, he said, I love them white girls. They already know. And then he also just makes a bunch of random posts about white girls, way better Black girls. Like, you see the material that's happening here, right? So now his family, someone who's claiming that they're his cousin or whatever like that, basically, and his brother has spoken out and said, like, why is the Black community not stepping up for him? This, that, and the third. Sir, are we seeing the same things here? It's like, you made it a point when you were, and it's like, I never wish death on nobody. There's certain people, or I'm like, if you were to take your last breath, it is what it is. But it's not something I actively sit there and say that I wish on people. If while you were alive, you made it a point to consistently, unprovoked, disrespect Black women, why do you think that at the time of your death, I need to sit there and yell justice for you? Why do you think that you could sit there and and I just want to preface this by saying, if that is your preference, go ahead. I will never, if you prefer to date outside of your race, that is what you like, but you don't have to sit there and bash another race to sit there and make your preference seem more acceptable. And so this is why we are talking about this today, because to me, when I saw this, like, I was just like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. Like, his baby mama shot him. But like, the deeper I started reading into it, I don't feel bad. Like, I don't. And it's like, I'm the type of person who needs all the details. Like, Shayla will look at something and she's very empathetic, and she will sit there and automatically start to feel some type of way for that person. Me, I have to look at all the details and think, like, do I feel bad? And I'm like, I don't. Like, I really don't. You have anything to add, Shayla?
First of all, to the point that I'm empathetic. Yes, I'm empathetic, but also I also need to have information. Yes, I am way more caring than you are, but also the math is not mathing, and when the math isn't mathing, I also have a lot of logic. So
Yes.
yeah, in this situation, I feel like I don't even know why the family would say that when these screenshots are out there. Like, obviously 1 + 1 = 2. If someone has actively been disrespecting me and my community, I will not be there for you, point blank, period. It is a sad story, but that's on y'all and your family. Like, why are they talking about, oh, why the Black community is this? You are the community. Like, you can you know what's Onijah? She broke into another person's press conference. You should do the same. Figure out a way to find justice for your family member. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the times when people do speak out, or like certain communities speak up for a person or someone that passed away, it's because, you know, they are a part of the community, but also, like you mentioned, they see the facts, they see what's happening, and then from there they move accordingly. I'm sure when this news first broke, people were like, oh, I also want to say, I feel like this is not the first or the last time where a white woman does this type of stuff, or like when people are in interracial relationships. I'm not saying that this only happens in interracial relationships, but yeah, I feel like they shouldn't be surprised. And especially when you were so vocal about your hate towards your own people, like, it's very weird. No one cares that, like, men love to bring this up. It's about preference. It's about preference. Okay, but if in your preference, you're going out of your way to bash and talk down upon women that are in another race that is not your preference, that's where the issue lies. Because, all right, if you like white women, that's fine. But don't sit there and at every chance you get, try to bash someone that's not white, because that's weird. You look dumb. And now the actions have consequences.
Right. And it's like, so now a lot of people have been saying, like, rest in preference and stuff like that when it comes to him. And my whole situation, like, I have my own thoughts when it comes to interracial relationships. Maybe one day we'll do a video about it. Today, not gonna get very far into it. But it's like, when it comes to people using this word preference, to me, I don't know. Like, let's say if I was to date a man that's outside of my race, if his reasoning for dating me is to bash a different race, I'm going to look at you and ask the question, do you really like me? Or do you like me because of your hatred for a different group? Like, I never understood that. It doesn't make sense to me. It moves very weird. And obviously, like, this is a grander conversation, and this is like the case that we're using to get to that conversation. But it's just like, I don't understand. And then, like, his cousin got on like a Facebook live, and he was basically like, he's like, look how you Black bitches is acting. I would just fuck a white bitch too. And it's like, you are missing the point completely. Like, you can have your preference. No one is saying you can't have your preference. If that is what you like, if that is the flavor, if that is what you want to dip your finger into and taste, baby, go ahead. I will never tell you don't do that. But leave me and my community out of it. Let your reasonings for your love for that person be the reason why you love that person. You don't have to bash a completely other group to get to the love that you feel like you want to have with that person. Do what you want, do what you will. And now look at you in a grave. But that's just me.
Well, next, on that note, I know before we even get to the next topic, you're gonna be like, why do I care? We have enough things happening in America. I just went to Costco, honey, and the people was getting 6 cartons of eggs, and I was just so pissed off because I'm like, first of all, Costco, if you don't know what a Costco is, it's a wholesale warehouse. So everything that they sell is like the amount is double or triple, right? And the reason why people go there is because you get a bang for your buck. You know what I'm saying? So The eggs at Costco is like 2 dozens. One carton is like 24 eggs. So one should be enough. You have people with 6 cartons of eggs in their little carts. And my issue is like we already having an egg shortage. And so you are being, I don't care how many people live in your house. I don't care if it's a 20 people family. Be considerate. Get 1 carton of eggs, because the last time I went to Costco, there was no eggs. And guess what? It's probably because each person was buying 6 cartons. And then that's why they implement the 2 per people limit, because let us be for real. Like, I understand that, yes, you want to protect you and yours, but that selfishness is impacting everybody. Like, everybody's affected. You're not the only one that won't have eggs in their house. Like, just relax. And it's Costco. Like, it's a big portion. So and 1 carton should be enough.
And I just want to mention this really quickly, is like when people do all that stuff, like you buy 6 like cartons of eggs or like whatever, two big dozens or whatever it is. It's like you do realize at one point it is going to run out and you're going to be stuck with the rest of the people. So how are you going to act then? And it's like, to your point, when I went to BJ's yesterday, literally this lady's buying like, it's like 2 decks of like eggs, and she got 3 of them stacked on top of the other. And I'm like, what? Like, why? Like,
I understand whatever people are so scared that there's never going to be eggs, but also like think about other people. But anyways, I say all of that to say I understand America has their own issues. So why are we about to talk about national issues, right? So President Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, is at it once again. So Vladimir Zelenskyy is the president of Ukraine. If you didn't know, Russia invaded Ukraine. Like, I feel like it's been over a year now, right? And you might be thinking, well, why does that matter? Why does it, well, it's because the United States of America is spending money, right? I'll speak for when Biden was president, right? Like, the United States was helping Ukraine fight against Russia, right? So our money is going towards this war, whether you feel it every day or not. The wallets and the money is feeling it. Okay, boom. But now that Donald Trump is the president, he does not seem to be very much on the Ukraine side, right? Keep in mind, the president of Russia is a dictator. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, he controls the media. He is like, is not giving really nice over there, right? Which is why, Biden and a lot of people are pro defending Ukraine, right? Like, we need Ukraine to be good because we don't want what's happening over there to later impact us. So today, Friday the 28th, Vladimir Zelenskyy showed up to the White House in hopes of, speaking to Donald Trump and kind of being able to like settle the dust and explain to him, like, listen, this is why we need you to continue to support us as Biden did. Another backstory. You guys know when Donald Trump was out in the campaign trail, he said, oh, the reason why all these wars are happening is because Biden is president. He's weak. He's all of this. As soon as I hit the office, these wars are gone. Honey, you've been in office for more than days and the wars are still happening. But anyways, this happened today, honey. Vladimir Zelenskyy came into the Oval Office and he was not playing. He was not trying to play the nice game. And one would think because you are here to get help, you would kind of like mince your words, like not do too much. Zelenskyy wasn't playing none of that, to the point that after these clips that I'm about to show you, he got kicked out the White House and Trump said, come back when you're trying to talk peace. Let's take a listen to these clips, honey. It was actually wild.
Diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about. What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories. And
a lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now. But you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
I'm not playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can...
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
you
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment, and your men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have our military equipment,
you invited me
if you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
maybe
new.
Less.
In 2 weeks. Of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Again,
I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of
except that they're
American people.
Except that
The Vice President, I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
she's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
Listen, one thing about Donald Trump, he does not like to be embarrassed. And Zelenskyy was on him. He told JD Vance, hey, we saw him. At least we saw him because we've been asking where this man was. Zelenskyy said, when have you been to Ukraine? And JD Vance was, I've seen the stuff. Zelenskyy was not, and Trump was livid. He was so mad that Zelenskyy was not sugarcoating nothing. And I want y'all to know, after this meeting, Trump said, yeah, you gotta go. This was supposed to be a full day of, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's talk about it. After Zelenskyy, baby, he stood on business, honey. And so things are about to get shaky because, like I said, the whole point of this was for Zelenskyy to, you know, try to get on Trump's nice side, in a sense, for him to help him. Because at this point, Trump is very much on Russia and Putin's side. And it did not go well. To the point when that lady had a question, he was like, what if a drop bomb, like that? When he said that, he was so out of it. He's like, what if a bomb dropped on your head?
Yo, that part took me out because
what? Mind you, this is the Oval Office. This is supposed to be like presidential, like, you know what I mean? Like, most people, when you know you have cameras out and all of these journalists, they ask like surface level stuff, like, oh, you know, yes, we are going to work together to find a solution. It's supposed to be diplomatic. And the way this was so non-diplomatic, people speaking over each other, President Zelenskyy saying, JD Vance, you saying all of this, but you haven't even been to my country, but you talking about diplomacy. You talking about diplomacy, but Putin's the one that has broken prior ceasefire deals. You talking about, like, honestly, the way Zelenskyy acted, I'm like, a lot of Democrats should take notes from him. Because yes, Ukraine is going to suffer. Trump is a very petty dude. And the way Zelenskyy responded, although I think it's very good that he stood his ground, he is going to pay the price. because I think Donald Trump now is gonna be like, since you feel like we not helping you, now we really not gonna help you. And this will have consequences in the United States. You might not feel it, you know what I'm saying, right away, but the countries that are supporting Ukraine are also supposed to be, you know, like, I don't know a lot about like other countries, but what I do know is, as a leader, you want other countries to be willing to speak to you and feel comfortable with you and have like good diplomatic relationships with other world leaders. And I feel like ever since Donald Trump stepped foot, world leaders are not messing with Trump. Like, they don't like him. All of these things, like on Tuesday, again, the tariff things are supposed to drop with Canada and Mexico and all of these things that are going to impact us. They are going to impact us. I know this is the Trump that everybody wanted because he's loud and he speaks his mind and he is rah, 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 scary vibes. But all of this comes with consequences. Obviously, Ukraine is going to feel it more because there are in an active war right now and they do need the United States. But if those tariffs eventually do hit and these countries are saying, well, we're going to do reciprocal tariffs. So if you want to charge us, we about to charge y'all. Listen, buckle up, because it's about to be a wild ride, honey.
To your point, I like when I saw this, because like I was downstairs and I was like editing and stuff, and I heard my dad listening to it, and I'm like, ugh, like, why are you listening to this stuff? And it's like, I heard one, like, if you sit there and you believe, like, you're people, there's gonna be people who comment and be like, Trump doesn't say that he loves Putin. He just, you know, he's trying to be, you know, be diplomatic and be fair on all sides. You know, there's gonna be those people who believe that, and it's just like, literally at one point of the, I don't remember, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but once Zelenskyy started talking about Putin, Trump came to his defense automatically. He said, nah, Putin is not like that type vibe, right? You know, go watch the full thing, and I'm paraphrasing, but you will see for yourself. Zelenskyy kind of reminds me of me in terms of like, and Shayla tells me this all the time, in terms of like, when you are feeling some type of way, or if I feel like what you're doing to me, I don't like that. I don't care what setting we're in. I'm going to say what I have to say. And Shayla tells me all the time, like, Rebecca, you cannot do that. Like, you have to go into a situation level. Nah, you playing in my face and I'm going to tell you about it. Stop playing with me. Like, so like when I saw that, I was just like, I feel him. Like, sometimes it's like, yes, like you said, Ukraine is going to be impacted, and they are actively having a war in their country right now. And like us as United States, I say United States, as people who live in America, we literally watch these things while sitting on our couches, while eating dinner, not worried about a bomb dropping on our heads, like Trump mentioned. Like, we just watch this.
Yeah.
Right? But you have people in those countries who are actively living this. And like, I know some people, like Shayla said, you're gonna be like, why should I care? Why should I care? Why should I care? It's like, we have these allies for a reason, because at one point in history, we needed each other. At one point, we could not get along with one another, but we found common ground to, you know, become united, right? So it's just like, when people talk about make America great, during that time of greatness that y'all like to quote, we were united with a variety of different countries. So now look at us in the position that we're in, where we literally have problems with Canada, we have problems with Mexico, we have problems with Ukraine, and the list gonna keep going and going and going. Where do you think America is going to get great again if we consistently have these problems with people? So when y'all are able to answer me that question for me, then maybe we could progress. But until then, I don't see what y'all seeing, but that's just me. But Trump ain't stopped there. He also signed an executive order today, Shayla. Go ahead.
Oh, yes, girl. How could I forget? So I feel like it is common sense that, yes, English is the language of the United States of America. Not everybody speaks English, but like when you come here, you understand that that is the language. But that wasn't enough for Donald Trump. He felt like, mind you, we got all these other issues, like we mentioned, that we can't be focusing on, but he signed another executive order. Yes, another one. And y'all would not believe what this executive order is about, honey. So Trump is set to sign an executive order today, Friday, making English the official U.S. language. And when I first read that, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I thought that was already, like, we knew that, right? But then I looked up, like, why does it matter? So this new order will mandate, right, that let me go back, right? The executive order rescinds or like pushes back a Clinton era mandate that required agencies and recipients of federal funding to provide extensive language assistance to non-English speakers, right? So under the new order, agencies will have the flexibility to decide how and when to offer services in languages other than English. This is according to a fact sheet from the White House that was shared to ABC News. So essentially, I guess not everybody can relate to this, but Rebecca and I can, as people that were raised, speaking a different language that was not English. We understand the importance of these agencies or federal agencies or just places having, even like the sheets that are printed out when you go to the doctor. Now they have Spanish and they just have a variety of different languages for you to be able to, like, accessibility to understand what you're signing, right? So if this is signed or when he signs it, this is now you're not gonna be pushed to create things to be in non-English form. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
So when I saw this, right, the first thing that came into my mind, I was like, what was the official language before?
Hello? I'm like, what was the reason?
I didn't know.
Everybody know when they come to the United States, English is what people speak.
I didn't think it was something that needed to be signed because, like, okay. So we consistently talk about this. We've talked about this with DI. We've talked about this. Like, obviously, Trump is trying to do a cleaning. And he wants
cleanse.
An ethnic cleanse for sure. He does not want a speck of, like, variety. He doesn't want differences. He doesn't want none of that. When we talk about Make America Great, he wanted time where everything was white. Listen, argue with your mama. That's literally what it is. Like, and you can't believe me or convince me of anything else. So when I saw this, I was just like, that's so weird. Like, we're making a problem that's not a problem. And it's like, you sign this executive order, when you do have those people who do live here, who are natural born, like, who are citizens here, but there is a language barrier. That's when that frustration is going to come in, because now you don't have those things in place that are going to help have those, like, oh, you speak Spanish, I can have some translations right here for you, or I can do this. So now there's going to be even more of a disconnect with communication. Now you're talking about, you're going to try and force people to learn a language. Like, learning languages are hard. I can tell you, as someone who's taken French, even though I am Haitian, and people assume, like, oh, because you're Haitian, you can automatically pick up on French. Not true. Especially not with the way America teaches it. Okay. So it's like, as someone who took French for, I want to say 7, maybe 8 years, I could give you the basics of the basics. But I can speak more Spanish than I can French, because I have been around more people who do speak Spanish. I have a lot of Spanish speaking friends. Like, I've worked in those type of environments, so I've picked things up. Like, you learn best in interaction. You learn best in, like, just everyday life.
Yeah. And I feel like it's important to say, of course, there's people are going to be like, well, just because he signs this order doesn't mean like it's going to make a difference. Well, right now it is a mandate, right? Like, any federal organization is mandated to, if they don't print out the sheet in a different language or the language that you speak, they are supposed to, like, they're mandated to find a way to communicate in a way that you will understand. But now, if and when this executive order goes through, now it's not going to be a mandate. And we already know how federal agencies work. They really don't be wanting to work. So it's like, well, if now it's not a mandate for me to sign or for me to print this paper in Spanish, I'm sorry, I had to call. Then like I'm not gonna print it out in Spanish because it's not mandated.
Yeah. And it's like to those people, because a lot of times, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it'd be the Italian Americans who be thinking also that, listen, I'm getting to a point, because they like to think that, like, not all of them, but some of them like to think that they are like, we're like, even though we're Italian, we're the natural American type vibe. And it's just like, you do know your nona doesn't know how to speak English, right? Who gonna translate that for Habuki when she got a call? To the people who voted for him and who are a part of the Latino community, are you about to be translating for abuela? Are you going to be translating for abuelita, abuelito, or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to actively help the people who don't understand? Because I know for me, my grandma does not speak. She can say a few words here and there, but she don't speak English for real. But she got me. She got my sister. She got my mom. She got my dad. She has people. To the people who don't have people, think about those family members that you have, the ones who actually had to come here, who didn't just get a birth citizenship because now y'all think that y'all better than people. Think about those people who had to migrate here so you could have the life that you needed, who didn't know a word of English, who didn't know anything, and who had to struggle. Think about that.
And also, my last point that I want to make on this, as someone who took ESL literally until like 5th or 6th grade, I understand how hard it is to move through life when you don't even understand the language. Yes, of course, you want to learn it when you come here. That is the goal, right? But like, let's say, for instance, my mom, she was I keep coughing. I can't even talk a lot. On to the next, but it's hard.
Girl, let us get into our social corner. Yes, so welcome to our social corner, where if you are new here, this is where we talk about some of the things that have been trending on social media or that we've seen that we wanted to talk about. We're not going to spend like 20 minutes on a whole topic, but we're going to spend at least a good 5, maybe 6 minutes on different topics. So Shayla, you want to introduce us to our first one?
Well, hopefully my
Girl, pop a cough drop or something.
So I really don't care about everyone else that's a part of this. It's really just Gayle King. But earlier this week, Blue Origin announced its next human space flight, right? It's supposed to launch back. Katy Perry, Gayle King, and all-female crew set for historic Blue Origin space flights. So Blue Origin has announced its next human space flight set to launch this spring as part of the New Shepard program, right? The mission, known as blah, 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 will carry an all-female crew, marking the first such flight since Soviet cosmonaut Valentina. Girl, the moral of the story is that Gayle King about to go to space. And I want to know, would you ever want to go to space?
First of all, and it's like, I think this whole thing is like, I think the whole experience is going to be recognize the boundary of space in an 11-minute sub-oriental journey or whatever. I don't care if it was.
So you're going up and then you're coming right back down.
Right. So it's like, I don't care if it was 11 minutes. I don't care if it was 2 minutes. Didn't y'all learn from the people that was in the sub? Stop trying to do certain things. Like, my whole thing is, and I know some people are going to be like, okay, but like, people take flights. Okay. But there is no reason why you need to be in the deepest parts of the ocean. You were not born to be a part of the ocean. Why would you need to go there? You were not born in space. Why do you need to go there? It's like, I feel like we do these unnecessary risks to sit there and feel connected or be like, oh my God, this was the experience somebody else had. That's great for them. Not everything need to be for you. Gayle King, you know what you mean to communities. Sit your behind back on that couch. Please. Stop playing with people. Like, literally, when we saw that sub and then people went down into the ocean and they couldn't be found, you had no business being there. You have no reason to be going. You know how much can go wrong in 11 minutes?
I just think number one, these space explorations require a lot of money. Like, given this Blue Origin thing is owned by Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, I know he's now no longer the CEO of Amazon, but you know, he got some stake with Amazon. I don't know, he might not be CEO, but he got to see something, okay? And so the Blue Origin is a part, like Jeff Bezos is a part of that. And I feel like there are some people that like they go to school for this. They're all about aerospace and like that's their thing, their life goal. Like, you know, like that's what they love to do. If that's you, then I feel like this is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like there are the people that do submarine studies. And like if that's your passion, who am I to like, you know, do you? We was all born to do different stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank God there are people that care about the ocean and are exploring that, because they put us on. They tell us where we could go, where we shouldn't go in the ocean, what animals to mess with and what animals not to. The same thing with space. Because there are people that care about space so much, we know that there's the planets and all of that. Cute. My thing is Gayle, what is the reason? She, like, I saw like while she was talking about it, she said like, you know, she's like scared and nervous. I mean, like, if that makes you happy, do it. But the way she was, and like after she announced it, she seemed like she was very nervous. And ciao, good luck to her. I'll be watching though. It does bring the eyeballs. I'll watch this 11-minute
My whole
experiment.
thing is, I'm just like, I get it. Some people who have like an interest, like, oh my God, like I love the idea of like exploration, like space travel, diving into the ocean. You can have an interest, right? I have an interest in flamingos. I'm not about to go stand in a pit of them.
But that's you. There's people that are, what are the people with the veterinarians? There are people that I love animals and want this. I just,
okay, but
you're the best.
Right.
We wouldn't do it though.
Girl, y'all could keep that.
Keep me on the ground.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about, now we've talked about this a little bit in past episodes. We really, like, Shayla and I have low-key been avoiding getting into like the deep conversations about Bhad Bhabie and Alabama Barker. But it's to the point where, like, you know, like that said with the Telvin Osborne situation, it's like it keeps popping up on my timeline to the point where I'm like, all right, what's going on, right? So because I finally, like, I didn't really listen to the diss tracks and nothing like that, but I was just like, because I haven't been a part of it since the very beginning, I was kind of confused on what started it. Like, what is happening? Like, who, like, basically a whole
someone allegedly slept with her man.
Right. So like I was like, if I'm confused, and I called my cousin, I'm like, do you know anything about this? She's like, girl, I don't know nothing about this. Like, I see it, but I really don't, like, I feel like it's been so long, like this beef has been happening since like January has hit, that it's like there's so much into it that I just don't know. So like I'm going to explain it for you, because if you're like me, you really haven't been keeping track. So brief details. Shayla, you giving it to me now? Dag. All right. So rapper Bhad Bhabie and social media influencer Alabama Barker. And if you also know, her father is Travis Barker, who was a popular drummer for a band who's also married to Kourtney Kardashian. Right. So they're locked in a heated feud that has escalated into diss tracks and social media drama. The conflict reportedly began when Bhad Bhabie accused Alabama Barker of stealing her boyfriend, Lavan, whatever his name is. Right? While Bhad Bhabie was undergoing chemotherapy. That's another mention. She has cancer, right? She says, Shayla and I need to see some blood testing results. But okay. So, and they have a baby together, and she just had a baby. So Alabama Barker denied the accusations, but the two have traded public jabs, leading to a series of diss tracks. So Bhad Bhabie released her first release, Overcooked, alleging that Alabama Barker had past relationships with Soulja Boy and Tyga, and she had an abortion. And she claims that, like, those are claims that Alabama has denied, right? So in response to these like allegations, Alabama dropped a diss track called Cry Baby. And like she spelled baby as if like, you know, how Bhad Baby spells baby. Insisting that LaVon, who is Bhad Baby's baby daddy, had pursued her, leading Bhad Baby to then fire back with Miss Whitman, featuring aggressive insults in a music video that appeared to mock Barker's father, Travis Barker. So the drama took another twist when Bhad Baby sampled Kanye West's song Carnival, leading to speculation that Kanye West was involved. And Bhad Baby even shared alleged messages with Kanye West's wife, Bianca, and an audio clip that she claimed Kanye West had written for her. However, you know, Kanye has been going through his like little mental episodes. He is saying in his moment of clarity, apparently, that he did not write no songs. He ain't help her in no way. He's denying taking sides and suggested that the clip was AI generated, which is sparking further controversy. Now, into our last little tidbit. As the feud intensifies, both women seem to be capitalizing on attention, with Alabama Barker hinting at another diss track and Bhad Baby embracing the rivalry on social media. The ongoing beef continues to gain traction, fueled by social media reaction and AI's role in blurring the lines of authentication. So, after seeing all this, and I listened to a little bit of like each diss track, I wholeheartedly think that Bhad Baby and Alabama Barker are not really beefing. They're just doing this for social media attention. I think in the beginning, it could have started off as beef, but after they saw like how much this is gaining traction, they just like, all right, how can we keep going like tit for tat with this? I don't really think they beefing for real.
My 2 cents is I don't care enough. I feel like they are not only appropriating, but they're making hella money from Black culture. Point blank, period. Alabama Barker has this whole thing about putting on wigs when she does not need a wig. And who am I to tell people, of course, you can wear a wig, you can do what you want. But if you see like her trajectory, like she was born with money. Or I'm not going to say with money, but like her dad has money. Like it's different. I feel like Bhad Baby, not to put like who is more ghetto, whatever, but like Bhad Baby doesn't come from money. So like, you know, it could be a product of like where she was born and raised, whatever. We saw her from Dr. Phil. That's how she popped off. She been like this. Like we know that's how she popped off, because she been like, catch me outside. How about that? Okay. Alabama Barker Baker is just like, you was a nice goody two show. Like what happened from that to now with like the lips and the face beat to the God? Like what happened? Like this not even you. Like
the BBL.
You get whatever you want because your dad has money. And you know, shit, I wish mom, you know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead. I'm not mad at you for that, but I'm just like, I'm kind of confused. What, like, how did you get there?
Yeah.
Why are you becoming this person that you are not? And I think I saw a video of her mom saying like, oh, you know, she not about the fighting like that. She not about that life. And it's like, well, exactly. She not about that life. She's out here dating these men. If you see the men that she has dated or has been like alleged to be with, is all men that clearly you could tell like they've been in the streets, and maybe she's like, that's what she wants to be. I am just like, I don't care enough whether it's true or not. I feel like we're the ones that give flame, right? Because the reason why they're dropping these diss tracks and doing all of this is because the people are clicking. And so,
and like, honestly, the reason why I was like, okay, we're going to talk about it is because since I took that 10 minutes to read into the history of their little beef, I was like, because I wasted my time, I need y'all to hear this too. Because not only did I have to find out, y'all have to understand too. And to your point, I get it, right? And I've been seeing a lot of people talking on social media about like the whole thing, because like since she released that, like since Bhad Baby released that new diss track, people are saying, oh, like Bhad Baby actually like did her thing on the track. Like I see people supporting like this madness, right? And the thing that's like entertaining for me is that like I remember when Bhad Baby first came out with Catch Me Outside, and the amount of people I used to see on social media talk about I could catch you outside. Who's like, oh, she couldn't catch me outside. Now we talk about, oh my, she actually is a good like kind of rapper. Like her song actually kind of tough. Y'all don't really be mad about what y'all need to be mad about. Y'all be faking it for the crowds. And like, I don't get it. And like you said, Bhad Baby is a product of her environment. So that is how she acts. And it does come off as like, girl, you trying to be black. But like, I also want us to remove from the narrative, like that automatically pertains to how you are when you are from these areas. What?
Yes, but also I feel like she has always been like, this is how we knew her, a mess.
Yeah.
She's always been a mess. That's how she was her rise to fame. Whereas, I mean, I'm not picking a side. I don't really care. I think both diss tracks suck and is giving auto-tune. But also, like, I get what you're saying, that like just because you are from the ghetto doesn't mean that you can't make it out and that you aren't well spoken and that you aren't this. But the reality of the matter is that is how people see us, right? Like if you are from the ghetto, like, oh wow, like how you know that word? You know what I mean? Like, how you got a college education? How you got a bachelor's, girl? How you make it to the top?
Yeah.
But anyways, we
yeah.
wish them the best of luck. Stay safe out there.
Yeah. I won't be finding out about them again. So I hope y'all took this little lesson real nice.
Right.
So the next thing we wanted to talk about was, I believe, hold up, let me get my notes, y'all. Production.
So we want to talk about Shrek. I feel like Shrek was a big part of our growing up. The Shrek series has been, all the movies been popping, funny, quirky. And so honestly, no tea, no shade. I feel like I stopped watching. I didn't know that we were up to Shrek 5, but apparently we are, honey.
Shayla.
So
literally, I was like, I didn't even know we touched 4.
Right. So I think I only watched like 2, but we are in Shrek 5 and the trailer was released this week and it was so cute.
I have the trailer real quick.
Okay, if you want to play it, you could play it.
Who's the fairest of them all? Why, Shrek, of course.
Ew, Dad.
Ooh, Mama like. Who's making this stuff?
Not me.
Whoa! Shrek 5, starring Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, and Zendaya? Oh, damn. Only in theaters, Christmas 2026.
So when I saw Zendaya, I was like, I know that's right. I'm a big fan of Zendaya. And one thing about my good sister, honey, she stayed booked and busy, honey. The money stayed coming in. And, you know, she's going to play Fiona's daughter. And I love her little bangs, the little hair they put on her. It's real cute. And I'm a big fan of Eddie Murphy. I think he's super funny. So the cast seems to be amazing. And I will be there Christmas 2026. Should I guess I have to watch 3, 4 in order to make it to the 5th one, but there's enough time in between.
So like when I saw this, like I saw Zendaya, I said, go ahead, girl, get your money. Like I said, I didn't know there was a 4th. I didn't even know there was a 3rd. So for me though, like I'm not really a big like movie girl. So I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you.
She still hasn't seen One of Them Days. Wasn't that the name of the
Oh, the one with Kiki?
The one with Kiki. Yeah, girl.
Yeah, girl. I'm not a movie girl. Like, first off, Shayla, you already see I be struggling with the little bit of time that I have already. So I can't even figure out.
We make times for what we want. It's okay, but you say you don't like movies, so it's okay.
So, like, I won't sit here and say to y'all, like, I'm gonna watch that on Christmas Day. Like, if Shayla tells me, like, Rebecca, I want you to come with me, I'll be like, okay, I'll make it work. But like, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna actively go out of my way to go watch it. But I love this for them. Go ahead, make your money. Go ahead and do what you gotta do. I know that a lot of people do love the Shrek franchise. So I feel like it's going to be a big hit. And it's like, I feel like when you have these big names like Cameron Diaz, Eddie Murphy, Zendaya, and stuff like that, you are going to rake in the money. So I can't wait to see the success it has. Oh, excuse me. I can't wait to see the success it has and to see how, you know, everybody reacts to it. Now let's get into our sports corner.
Tell him this. Did he miss? Junior want to not be on my
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the Eagles. Now, you know, Rebecca's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. We lost in the Super Bowl. whatever, it happened. Right. So obviously, whenever teams win like the Super Bowl or the playoffs or anything like that, one of the things that they get to do is to visit the White House. So this has been a whole little like, it was like a little debacle, right? So the Philadelphia Eagles plan to visit the White House if invited by current asterisk current. Don't come for me, people. If invited by current President Donald Trump, despite earlier speculations that they might decline. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, is because there was this rumor that basically that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to decline if invited to the White House. And it's important to read. So a lot of people took that and ran with it. So I wanted to talk about a little bit of like the comments that I was seeing that people had. So I feel like a majority of people, especially like the Philadelphia Eagles, like Philly, like I feel like not a lot of people rock with the current president, right? So like when I saw that people were basically like trying to bash the Eagles for like when this rumor came out for not wanting to go to go to the White House, it was crazy to me, the comments, because I was just like, well, how y'all mad at them because they might not want to go? Like, I just don't understand. So let me read really quickly. Where did I put the comments? Hold up. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to y'all. I promise I ain't lie. Hold on. Where'd it go? Oh my goodness. Production.
Well, I feel like it's there. Like the fans were mad if the Eagles did in fact feel this way. I feel like there's been a lot of reports and rumors of like maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I think now they said that I feel like the invitation hadn't even been sent, but Trump is going to ask them to come, and we will see if they want to go or not. And if the fans feel mad, I feel like at the end of the day, yes, they're going to show up when the season starts again. So
also,
it doesn't even
like,
matter.
as someone who wasn't a fan of who's not a fan of the Eagles, first off, Trump was talking about he hopes the Chiefs win. So personally, if they did decide to decline, I get it. You was rooting against us the whole time anyway.
Yeah, but I feel like people also they know the math, and they will. I feel like people are gonna jump to whatever conclusions they want. The Liberty just won the championship, and Jonquil Jones, who ended up being the MVP. We're talking about the WNBA. If you are like, what's the Liberty? Mm-hmm. Jonquil Jones, in a podcast that she did, she said, she was like, well, if there's no way we can rearrange for us to go to the White House now, because when a big league wins a championship, that's like tradition. You go to the White House and you give whoever is president or vice president your jersey. It's a whole thing. And so Jonquil Jones said, well, if there's not a way that we go now with Biden, we are not going to show up to the White House when Trump is there. And if you're wondering why, Jonquil Jones is an outly gay woman. She has, I don't know if it's a wife or girlfriend, and you know what I'm saying? Like Breanna Stewart, who's also one of the top players, she's gay and she has her wife and kids. And it's like, you don't want to, this is supposed to be a moment to celebrate, but how can you go up there and celebrate with someone that is actively working towards, oppressing your people? So it's like, at the end of the day, this is supposed to be an event for the players. And if the players don't feel safe or don't want to share their moments with a leader, then it's like, it is their prerogative. The fans aren't the ones that was out there busting their behind during the Super Bowl. So mind your business. You work in a sport, and then you get to say whether you want to show up or not.
Right. And also, I just want to mention, like in 2018, the Eagles skipped the White House visit after winning the Super Bowl, leading Trump to rescind his invitation. But also the Warriors had did the same thing too. So it's just like, it's kind of one of those things, like if you stand for something, make sure you stand firm on it. So it's just like, listen, personally, if I was a part of an NBA or a WNBA team or anything like that, we won. If people on my team wanted to go, cool, do you? Me personally, I would be right there on my couch, minding my business. I don't need to be united front on things that I don't agree with. And that's just that. And Shayla, Paul George.
Oh, yes. So on the Paul George note, if you don't know who Paul George, he currently plays for the Philadelphia 76ers, and they have been on a losing streak, honey. Like down bad. I feel so bad for my fave. I'm losing on his name.
Maxey?
Yes, because I really do like him, and he does want to do his best, but at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do. Joel Embiid, also a star. He plays sometimes he don't. They're now saying that currently the surgery that he had didn't work, so now they needs to do other stuff. And so there's only so much you can do when the rotation keeps flipping, whatever. So Paul George has a podcast, and we're nearing the end of the season. Like, we are about to soon be in playoffs, right? So what you did prior to All-Star matters. Now is the end game where you can kind of maybe get into the play-in tournament, but if you down bad, honey, you done. All right. So Paul George gets on his podcast, and he's saying that he is going to take a break from the podcast, and he is going to start focusing on his rehab and on the game. And people are like, well, you realize that after losing 10 straight? How about if you would have decided this decision when it actually mattered a little, not even at the beginning of the season, but mid-season? Like, it is like, what? Like, and honestly, I feel like you just shouldn't even have said nothing, because again, now you sitting there and saying, oh, now you're deciding to take a step back to focus on the team. Well, sir, that team is the one that's playing millions of dollars. That should have been the priority.
Yeah.
Without these millions of dollars, you probably wouldn't have had the eyes and the eyeballs to even create this podcast and be as successful as it is, because it is doing really good. You know what I'm saying? It is just, and it's also bringing conversations. I would like to hear what you got to say about your Knicks, right? Because you're what's your favorite? The Brunson?
Uncle Brunson.
Okay, Brunson and Josh Hart also have a podcast. And so when they have games that are not too hot looking, people are like, you know what? They should also get on that wave and take a step back. The last comment I want to make on that is, I understand these players have a life outside of podcasting. Like, we do this and we record for an hour, and I'm sure these celebrities have people that edit and do all the post-production. So it's really not taking a lot of their time, right? Like, they go in to the studio, they pay other people to set up their cameras and do this. So all they probably do is show up, probably do some promo, and that is it. Even if they have guests, probably someone else is creating the questions. But I just feel like it is a bad look. Like, when you're getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball, and you know you're not performing the way you should have, people are gonna have something to say. And then you get on the podcast and say, well, I'm gonna focus more on XYZ. This is gonna lead people to believe that you were not dedicating your fullest throughout the whole season. And now all of a sudden a switch went on, and you're like, well, now let me start putting my all into the NBA.
Like, when I saw him say that, I was like, my question was, where was your focus before? Like, where was your focus before? I don't understand. Like, and like you mentioned, there's only a few games left. And it's just like, the way that y'all are going, it does not look like y'all are going to make it there. And another thing that they've been talking about, I think Kevin, I said Kevin. Is it Kevin? Big Perk. Kendrick Perk? Whatever.
Yes, Kendrick Perkins.
Yes, Perkins. Yes. He was saying, basically, like, the reason why, like, he was like, they were talking about Embiid. They're like, Embiid has never allowed himself to fully heal and to fully rest. Like, in the summer, when he was supposed to be like fully healing and stuff like that, he went into the US Olympic Games. Like, it's like, you need to give your body the time to rest. That's why you're always out. I think he's only played like 19 games this season. Like, I think there's been one game where him, Maxey, and Paul George have like all been fully together, right? And it's just like, my thing is, back to Paul George, it's like, if your focus, where was your focus before? 1, 2, you got to understand, like, maybe this is not the season for y'all. Y'all literally suck. Like, y'all have been on a bad losing streak. This is not going to be the season for y'all. And if this is how you guys are playing in the regular season, what makes you think if you make it to the postseason, you're going to do any better? You taking that spot away from a team that actually might fight better than y'all. And it's like, I get it. You're a competitor. You want to do this. You want to do that. But listen, a part of being a competitor is also understanding when this year is for you and when what years aren't for you. And this year isn't for y'all. Like, y'all are terrible this season. It's not working out. Just go ahead. Go back to your podcast. Pick back up the mic. And usually I don't ever say that. I usually tell people put the mic down. But, pick your mic back up. And get them episodes steamrolling, because baby, you're about to be 1, 2, 3 Cancun, okay?
Yeah, well, I want to correct myself. They're on an 8-game losing streak. They haven't hit the 10 mark. They're in an 8-game losing streak, for whatever that's worth. For the record,
thank you so much for the clarification. They still suck, but that is all for this episode for today, y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also follow us on all our social media platforms at Too Much SB. Again, Shayla, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, and instead of playing our outro today, I just want to replay your birthday.
Thank you,
my Shayla. My Shayla. Congratulations!